Welcome back, you guys. This is my gorgeous client Bailey, and she is getting ready to graduate. Bailey is not only beautiful, but she is also super smart. She is graduating with her Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering. So we are going to start off by getting her prepped with putting just a little concealer on the eyes. This is just going to make sure our shadow lasts all day and conceal any redness and look like she's got a full night's sleep, because we know this girl hasn't. I mean, she's been studying her booty off for these exams and she is finally done. So after we blend that out, we are going to take our Carli Bybel palette. This palette, you can get at Ulta for like $22, you guys. It is amazing, as you can see. And we are just going to go in with this bone colored shade and set that concealer. It will help the shadows apply very smoothly over the lid. And going back in, we are going to pick up this kind of light brown peachy shade, and this is going to be our first color. We're just going to work that all over the crease, just from outer to inner, windshield wiper motions, buffing motions, just get it all over the lid. Now we're going to deepen it up a little bit with this kind of brown orangey shade in the palette, and going to put that pretty much in the same area. We're just really going to try to focus more of that color on the outer and then just kind of flick it inwards, as you can see me doing right here. And we're really going to build the shadow up, so I'm going to probably dip back into this palette maybe 2 more times just to get that intensity of this color that I want. I never want to go in heavy-handed with the color and just try to buff it out one time. So now picking up this more neutral brown shade, we're just going to kind of rub that more in the crease and just start to darken this up ever so slightly. We want to work our way from our light colors onto the dark colors. I'm using a small crease brush to apply this color. Now we're picking up this darker chocolate brown shade, and we're going to start focusing that on the lower kind of outer portion of the eye and just flicking it towards the inner corner. I don't want to go in too heavy-handed. Like I said, build this color up slowly. And now I'm going to grab this pencil brush. As you can see, it's very finely tipped, and grabbing that darker shade in the palette, we're going to make our little V. So when I say that, that means we're going to kind of start shaping this outer corner. We're going to just work our way down and flick it up, down and up, as you see me doing right here. Again, make sure you're not too heavy-handed at first going in with this darker shade, so you don't get too much on the eye and then it looks muddy. You want to build it up. You never want to go in with too much. Now I'm going to go in with this crease brush and just blend that out. Feather that into the inner corner so there's no harsh lines. Now we're going to see which shade we want to use on her lid. So I swatched all these pretty shades that are in the palette because we kept going back and forth on which one we should use. They were all super pretty, but we ultimately decided with the middle shade. It's a very pretty gold. It kind of went with the colors that, you know, her school has that she's graduating from. And we just put this on a flat concealer brush. I spray Matte Fix Plus on it just to kind of intensify that gold. And it just makes her lid look wet. It brings out that color so much better. If you have anything like Visine drops or setting sprays or something, spray your shadows and it will make them pop so much more. Now we're going back into that darkest shade that we first used in the outer crease and just working that color, building it back up, because it kind of loses its intensity when you kind of put that metallic shade on the lid. So just darkening that back up, flicking it over just a little towards the inner corner, and taking our crease brush to just blend out those harsh lines. Now I'm taking that first kind of red brown shade that we first picked up and just intensifying that color just a little bit more in that upper crease. You kind of see right here, it just brings a little bit more color to that area. And now I'm just grabbing a little bit of this gold highlight that was in the palette because it was just so pretty. I wanted to just see what it would do on top of that other gold shade, and it just intensified it even more and added just a little bit more glow to that lid. Taking a makeup wipe and just wiping off where those shadows kind of fell onto her cheek. This is why I do the eyes first, because I don't want all those shadows to be on the face when I go in with foundation. I'm just taking my Maybelline black gel liner and just putting a small thin line just to kind of help blend the lashes when we pop those on. I don't want to put a wing or anything too crazy. This is graduation. And look at her. This is why I asked her to be my model. And just going to apply a little mascara before we go on with those false lashes. And the ones that I got are just from Walmart. They're a Kiss brand. I will put it down in the description what they are called, but they are very light, very natural looking. We didn't want to go in with anything too crazy or too heavy or full. these blended with her own lashes. Very, very pretty, as you can see right here. Just added a little bit more depth to the top of her lash line. And I just wanted to show y'all really quick. I use these little face razors when people just don't have the time to tweeze or get any little extra hairs on their face. They are wonderful. I was telling Bailey right here, I use them even on my cheeks to kind of get the little peach fuzz, and it just helps your face look very smooth. You don't see any of that when you put your foundation on, so they're a great thing to have. Now we're going to go in with MAC's Strobe Cream. Absolutely love this stuff. This will help Bailey's makeup last all day, help the foundation apply smoothly over her texture, and just does a great job prepping the face. Now I'm going in with my Benefit Porefessional Pore Primer, just to fill in those little pores so there's no holes in her face when we put that foundation on. And as you can see, Bailey has got some red spots. She's been working really hard on getting prepared for all her finals and stressing just a little bit. So she had a little breakout, but that's okay. We're about to cover it all up with our L.A.GIRL green concealer. I just dab this over any redness on the skin, any little spots, and it really helps cover that. And after this, I blend it all out with my sponge, as you can see right here, just so it's not too intense. And then after we blend it out, I always go in with a little concealer. That way, the green will not come through at all during the day. Even when your foundation starts wearing away, it will totally be covered up. So if you have an event to go to or anything like that, and you have a few breakouts, do this. Start with the green concealer first, cover it with a concealer, blend it all out, then go in with your foundation. It works, you guys. And boom, no more redness on your face. Now we are ready for the actual foundation. I'm going with my Maybelline. Whoops. We could not believe that did not crack and break all over my floor. Thank the Lord. So anyway, back to this. Bailey's going to help me this time. Maybelline SuperStay. This is super full coverage, you guys, but when you blend it out with a beauty blender, it makes it feel wearable and not cakey. I'm mixing 2 shades because one was too dark and one was too light. Hey, it's only $10 for each one, 20 bucks, 2 foundations, one for in the winter, one for in the summer. If you have to buy 2 shades, you know, it's cheap. It's worth it. It's a great foundation. I'm just starting off with the lower half of her face because I will say this does kind of dry quickly. So I'm going to work in sections. I'm just going to kind of paint this on and then take my sponge. This is an Eco Tool sponge. I get it wet and just pounce that. I never drag or swipe it. Just press that into the skin, bounce it all over the face, and it will help it from feeling heavy and look more airbrushed. After we get that half nice and blended, I'm going to work on her forehead. She doesn't have a lot of redness up here, so I'm not going to put as much because I don't want it to sink into her fine lines that she does have on her forehead. So just a little bit, blend it out, and bring it down the neck. I always suggest doing this just so there's no disconnection from your face to your neck. Now we're going to go in with our Colourpop concealer. I absolutely love this stuff. It's lightweight, but it really helps cover. We are going to paint this on the chin, the nose, forehead, and underneath the eyes to kind of help brighten and conceal. And then after we get done painting this on, blend it out with that exact same Eco Tool sponge as you see me doing here. And again, pressing it into the skin. Do not swipe, do not drag, because that will just move the foundation around. And after we get done blending out that concealer, I'm going to take the Born This Way powder from Too Faced. It completely cut out of my video, not sure why, and set everywhere where I put that concealer with the powder. Next, I'm going to go in with Benefit's Hoola bronzer, and I love this stuff just for some very light contouring. I don't want to do anything too heavy, too crazy. Like I said, it's graduation, but this will put just a little bit of definition in her cheeks, a little bit of shadowing on her forehead. To warm up the face, I'm taking Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and it smells amazing. It's just going to warm up the skin, add a little bit of color back to her face because, you know, you look a little ghostly after you just put foundation and concealer on. I use a very light hand. I don't like to go in too heavy with bronzer. I like just a soft kind of sheer wash of color when I add this on the face. I don't want it to look too muddy, and sometimes if people get too carried away with bronzer, their face is going to look that way. So I dust a little bit down her neck, you know, just to connect the colors, not too much. Now I'm going in with my new Morphe blush palette. This is absolutely gorgeous, you guys. If you need a good blush palette, check this out on Morphe.com. I don't know what shade this is called. I'll list it down in the description, but I'm just putting this on the apples of her cheeks. I always get my clients to kind of smile, perk up those cheeks, so I can kind of know where to place that, because everybody's face shape is different. And after I get done with that, I just take my sponge and just kind of go around the edges just to make sure there's no harsh coloring, just in case I got a little too heavy-handed. This will kind of melt it into the skin. Now I'm just taking that Hoola bronzer and just dusting it on the sides of the nose just to do a slight bit of contouring, nothing too crazy. And since Bailey has beautiful, thick, gorgeous shaped eyebrows, we're just going to line the tops, underneath, do a little bit of filling, and just wherever she's kind of got some sparse spots where she needs a little bit of hair, I just add that in, but nothing too crazy. I'm not a makeup artist who goes super heavy-handed with the eyebrows. I would much rather the focus be on the eyes or lips or something like that versus just as soon as you see someone, boom, you just see their brows. So light-handed is usually how I prefer them. Now we're just going to take all those colors that we dusted on the lid and bring them underneath her lash line. I don't really like to go in with eyeliner or super, intense color. I want it to look more diffused underneath there, just to bring a little bit of depth and still keeping the eye looking really soft. So we're just going to shadow all of those brown tones, starting with the lightest, working our way to the darkest underneath the lash line. And then after that, we are going to go back into our palette, grab a little bit of that white pearl shade and just highlight the brow bone. I know it's kind of hard to see right here. Now taking these two highlighting shades, dusting them together, we're going to just add that to the tops of our cheeks. A little pop of highlight, not going too crazy because we don't want to emphasize any texture on her skin, but we gotta have a little highlight. Now to make the eyes really pop, we're going to go in with that gold color that we put on the lid, spray with Fix Plus, and we're going to pop that right on the inner corner of her bottom lash line. And this is really going to make those eyes just open up, be bright, and really make those blue eyes pop. And adding some mascara to the bottom lashes, and of course a dance break. She made this so much fun. But now we're going to the lips. I'm lining them with MAC's Soar, and now we're going in with Dose of Colors in the shade Stone. It is a beautiful mauve. I absolutely love this shade on her. And other than spraying the face, that is it for this look, you guys. I thought this look turned out perfect for Bailey. She is a gorgeous girl on the inside and out. Big congratulations for all her hard work that she's been doing over the past few years, and to all the graduates that are watching this video. Thank you guys for coming back to my channel. Make sure and subscribe. I've got some fun vlogs coming up next, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a great week. Bye guys.